This episode of RP MMO Radio is brought to you by all our amazing and generous Patreon donors. Visit us at patreon.com/RPMMO Radio to help support the show. It is also brought to you by...
Stand by for a word from the president of the MMO multiverse, live from the Pride Win.
Greetings, dear role players. This is your president of the RP multiverse, Arthur Maxon. The state of our multiverse is good. We have successfully established embassies in each relevant roleplay realm, promoted multiverse trade, and dismantled a number of raider cells, banishing the unrepentant stock to the Call of Duty wasteland. The Brotherhood has also been successful in reforming a number of these trolls into productive roleplayers and squires under our watchful eye. They will serve us well in keeping order as they know what to look for. I'm happy and proud to announce that our trade boon and tech development with ESO has enabled us to bring my home realm to the multiverse, to join our communities with the systems at large, building a stronger multiverse all over. We have improved relations with the realms of Guild Wars 2 and their longtime rival Rift. Both realms are now enjoying a new diplomatic relations, throughout our Brotherhood embassies, of course. Even the Old Republic is enjoying an increase in traffic and confidence, as we made it a priority to fix their malfunctioning multiverse gate. Their story mode has jumped by leaps and bounds. Though not all is happy news, dear roleplayers, oh no. It has come to my attention that the realm of EverQuest 2 has become a rogue multiverse state. In the past few months, I can only describe the architects of their sabotage as obstructionist and treasonous to the multiverse at large. It has been no secret that this realm has been losing population due to the scandal of its devs, as they have ignored their own population's wishes. Worse yet, our embassies there have been attacked, and then used to launch a greater attack to the new realm of Fallout 76, infecting our new branch into the community with game-breaking bugs, realm instability, and then colluding to foment negative attention to our realm of Fallout 76 at large over the internet. Dear roleplayers, this has had far-reaching consequences for our dev communication. The damage to our name has been irreparably damaged. But fear not, dear roleplayers, this isn't our first nuclear winter. We have taken actions to address these attacks, repairing these bugs that have infected the systems, and paving a path forward to stability and expansion. We will endure and prosper together, and together we will find these architects of this collusion and bring them to justice. Look to the future, dear roleplayers, for our destiny is bright. Ad Victoriam.
You're listening to RPMMO Radio.
Does internet porn know you're cheating on it?
Where entertainment and roleplay in MMORPGs have little hybrid mutant babies.
Make a note of this. Dishonor on you, dishonor on your cow, dishonor on your whole family.
And now, here's your hosts, Ashen Phoenix, Civ, Jazz, Strafe, and Yunfei.
Everybody off. We need to go on a quick adventure.
Hello, role players, and welcome to RPMMO Radio, our 80th episode. Chop it down the giving tree. Let's get rid of that little sucker. I'm tired of looking at him. He's not giving me quite enough. I think we could take more. So, appreciate you tuning in here over at twitch.tv/RPMO Radio, where you too can subscribe and follow and do all that stuff that you're supposed to do at the beginning of things, blah, blah, blah. I, of course, am one of your hosts, Ashen Phoenix. With me today is the crew, Jazz, Strafe, and Yunfei. How's everyone doing?
Hello.
Doing good, boss. Doing good.
Fortunately, we're missing a Rahanar, and we're missing a Sib. Last I saw, I don't even know if I really want to say it, but
They caught it, didn't they?
no, she was buried under an avalanche of husky puppies. We don't even know if we got people using the poke sticks to poke through the bodies and see if we can find her. But they're just so damn fluffy and cute. Everybody stops what they're doing and plays with them. It's a lot of huskies. That's
it's a
true.
spill-off infection. I mean, you got to be wary. It spirals out of control.
Yeah, I think the worst part of that would probably be the onslaught of puppy breath. which of course is one of the most foul-smelling things.
Oh, no. You have not smelled my cat's breath. Good Lord.
That's because she's not a puppy. I'm talking puppy breath, not kitty breath, which, or as I have, old dog breath, which can actually kill a moose from across the room if she's panting hard enough. And she does. Sweet Jesus. And she does. Am I fading out? All right. If I have anybody having a problem hearing me, let me know. I don't know. I apparently sound super strange to the others. I have no idea why nothing's changed. They say I sound very deep and also slightly quiet. But everything on my end looks fine. So if something's weird, let me know, guys. I'll see what we can do and fix it. But
your evil twin is in control. I'm just going to go with it.
Yeah, I mean, it works for me. If I sound super sexy right now, this is the cross I have to bear. I can't help it. This is the way God made this. Ugh, sorry, that's all I got. So yeah, well, hopefully it doesn't sound too bad. It should record just straight off mine, but I don't know. So how's everyone else's week? You guys doing all right? Having a good time? Partying, drinking?
Not a bad week overall. It's
Not a bad week.
Jazz is just having a hard time taking me seriously because I sound like Barry fucking White. At least on her end.
It is. It's really freaking me out.
she's attracted to you and is scaring the mess out of her, bro.
Would an accent help? Jazz.
Probably not. No.
What you are wearing today is absolutely stunning. Look at you there with your shirt.
You can stop now.
And your pants. Have you done something different with your hair? It looks so good.
Keep it up, Lady Killer.
I need wine. Okay.
No,
Well, now she's flushed and
It
blushing
sounds like you want to chew on her neck.
and fleeing from her mic. Well done, sir.
I definitely need wine. Let's have some wine, shall we?
Let's do
Wine
that.
it is.
Thank you, Ericus. I'll see if I can up my gain a little bit and see if that maybe takes care of it. If I'm cutting off at the end, it seems like Discord has done something somewhere, and I don't know what's going on, and I don't like it. I don't like change. Change is bad.
Yeah, but the rest of us don't sound different.
Unless it changed to $1 million, I would be willing to change to a millionaire. That I am good with. Oh, is am I cutting out anymore still? Is that good? Unfortunately, these were things I wasn't sure how it would translate over the internet, so we're good. But, okay, well, I'm glad everybody's helping us with our technical difficulties. We appreciate that. Let's see what we've been doing in roleplay, I guess. We can do that. Anybody drinking wine at the moment? I want you to go first.
Not me, sir. Not me.
Okay, well, I'm sorry. Uni, you drinking? Mazel tov?
Pepsi.
Ah, it's not wine. I'm sorry, hon. Jazz? Is that...
Well,
see, when you
No,
have
that's the
to,
opposite
Teach
of
me to be a
drinking.
smart ass.
when you have to sip loud enough for it to be heard, and then you choke, it kind of ruins the joke.
That was bad. Oh my
Ruined
god!
the whole effect there, darling.
Did you get it on the computer?
Okay, I'm okay now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I didn't get a chance to write anything, but I did have a fair amount of roleplay this week. Primarily on Seagal. Getting her back out into the world and role-playing again has been a lot of fun. Nothing really earth-shaking except for her conversation with Drax, which is Ashen's tune, which was very intense. And
It was fun.
yeah, it was. I got to develop a little bit of her backstory with him because he doesn't know, and there's a lot of things people don't know about Cial because she's so secretive.
Yeah, and he doesn't really pry. He just lets her. He just listens.
Yeah,
He
and for
points-
some reason
points
she just
something
feels
out and-
comfortable talking to him, so that's very interesting.
Yeah.
So that was interesting because I opened up some areas that I really haven't discussed with her, actually physically telling people about her history. I have a long backstory for her, most of which isn't told. So that was kind of cool. I also had her in Riften, talking to people and just generally being her pain in the ass self, which she's kind of toned down in the last couple months, and well, that's over. She's back to being a mouthy, pick at the scabs, try to pick fights self. So this should be fun.
Yeah. She's a self-aware troll now, instead of just being
Yeah.
an unself-aware troll. She's turning to
And
Strophe.
and the thing is that with Riften, it's always a mixed bag.
Oh yeah.
You never know what you're going to get. But
That's the truth.
I've had some really good roleplay there. People have picked fights with her, have been dicks, but not OOC. It's all IC.
Oh yeah, that's perfect.
And when I touch base with them after it was over, they're like, "That was so much fun," because they normally can't be an ass because the other person gets pissed.
Yeah, or they don't get to follow through, or something like that comes up,
Right.
or someone gets upset.
So this guy who was a Nord had no hair on his face, so he was very young, probably. And he gave a couple of clues that he was, and of course, he all pounced on this and started saying that he was a hairless baby milk drinker boy.
Yeah.
And the two of them almost came to blows. It was a lot of fun. So I love that kind of role play when it doesn't go south. And
especially
that
with
was
strangers,
good for me.
Yeah.
She's admitting she likes to troll. I'm so proud of her.
I like confrontation.
Yeah,
Sure you do.
It's
Secretly, you love it.
You do now, but you used to hate doing that kind of stuff back in the day. You weren't real one to, especially when it came to getting into combat.
Well, no,
fights.
the reason was I actually have always enjoyed that kind of role play. The problem was I couldn't do it without pissing people off. I mean, think about it. Toyana and a lot of my characters can be very confrontational, but unless I'm with my friends, I don't do it. Because
I guess that is true given the EQ2 community, especially later on. They
I
couldn't
just
handle anything
couldn't
like
be that person. Vaka toned herself down quite a bit just to avoid OOC BS, and Miriam,
Yeah, that
of
was
course,
sad.
I walked in knowing that I couldn't be as bitchy as I wanted to be with her, and so she was a very different person in the guild hall with her friends versus out in public.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing that happened to Vaka because I just didn't want to deal with the OOC bullshit. And I kind of, sort of, I think did that with Cial, which is why she had changed somewhat over the years, over the year that I've been playing. And I've decided that she's done with the smoke and mirrors to some degree. She's going to start just being herself.
Mm-hmm.
So this should be interesting because she's going to stop hiding as much.
Disappearing and stuff.
Nothing really happened on Thursday, but in the guild roleplay was kind of sparse. Poetry night was kind of sparse, but Friday was kind of fun. And then after that, I got to play Zasher, so I was really excited because I haven't been able to play Zasher anywhere, and I miss his characters. Meathead is a lot of fun, and I went to, after the Talvani thing, I went to a guild event in the other guild that I'm in. And Zasher got to whack somebody in the head and then, have a little bit of this and that within there, which was a lot of fun. And it was nice to have Zasher out and about again. So I'm looking forward to maybe on the weekend spending a little more time with Zasher.
Yeah.
The highlight of her day was thumping somebody's skull with her like Arnold Schwarzenegger looking Dunmer. That's hilarious.
Yeah,
I smash your head. Where's my funny friend who calls me
there
fat?
we go. Right there. And I was in voice with Taviset for most of the event, and she and I were cracking up because I was trying to talk like him.
Oh, geez, yeah.
And so, she's trying to run it through that filter too, and when we're role playing, to hear him talking like that.
Let them hear.
And it's a lot of fun. So overall, I had a really good.
No. We got to hear the voice.
Yeah,
you got to do it now.
Voice. You got to hear your Schwarzenegger.
I can't now.
I already gave you the template.
No.
I gave you the fresh start.
I know.
Muscles.
I can't do it. Nope. Muscles. It's just about how you pick up the bench. Yeah.
Christian, we have to go to the pub. Yeah, the pretty ladies in there. Those are whores, you fetcher. No, they're pretty girls. Let's take them.
Hey, that lady over there, she smiled at me when I gave her money. I think she liked it.
It turned into Schwarzenegger and Stallone all in one person. Was hilarious.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. It's kind of a mix between the two. He's a lot of fun to play. Like he was oogling Taviset's behind the whole time she was healing someone. So,
Well, I mean, she's not going to fight back. I'm just saying.
yeah.
Way to bring out your
She
inner
was-
Harvey Weinstein, but
OOC laughing quite a bit
Dang.
because she was like, he is such a perv, but he had his mask on so nobody could see what he was
Yeah.
doing. So,
that's too funny.
good times.
Well, I'm glad you got to pull him out again. It's a shame.
Yeah,
that,
I
you know, you
miss
didn't
role
get to
playing
really
with him a
use
lot. So, he was fun. So, that was my week for the most part. Next.
I guess I'll go next since mine was tied to Jazz's. But yeah, I actually got to roleplay a day this week. I still had a lot of neck pains and things like that, so sitting at my computer is not fun. Apparently I have the opposite problem of many people with my neck. I still have no curvature in my spine, so I guess that makes me straight. I get it. 'Cause
Boo.
So now I get to sit on this giant pointy pillow for a couple minutes every day to try to put the curve back in my neck.
Fun.
Yeah, this is what those Iron Maiden chair things must have felt like in the 1500s. Because I'm laying on plush carpet and I've got this stiff styrofoam triangle jabbing into the middle point of my neck, just letting They say it's supposed to be 8 pounds. I'm pretty sure my head must weigh a solid 15 or 20. At least as much pressure seems to be put on that. I assume it's from growing up, and my mom always told me I had rocks in my head. I'm guessing that's what it probably is. It's the rocks. They've gotten heavier.
They shifted, bro.
yeah.
See what happens. They shift when you get a little older, and then they start causing problems.
That might be
now you're off balance.
That might be the neck problems because apparently instead of being super tight in my neck, it's actually the opposite. Because I've done, if you're looking on the camera, how I've done this trying to pop my neck for so long now that all my ligaments and tendons are actually too loose. And he described me as a bobblehead. So I don't have the muscular structure now to actually hold up my 15 to 20 pound noggin, and that's what's causing the neck pain. I actually have to compress. I do all these like stupid old like 80-year-old man things, like lifting fucking cans of Campbell's soup up to my side, like just that much is. It's
No, I had the same problem after all my car accidents because
ridiculous.
I again, because of all the damage to my neck and there's no curvature.
You have a car accident.
That's true. I had a good reason. You don't.
There's no.
She's harsh, bro.
I've got whiplash. I've never been in anything that I don't know what I did. I have no idea. Nothing. I've never been in a car accident because I'm an amazing driver. I'm professional.
I'm an amazing driver. I got hit. They weren't my fault. Be quiet.
I don't buy that.
Wow, I didn't even accuse you of being bad. I was just talking about myself. But
Well, she was defensive. That's why I said I didn't believe her.
Man. Whew, man. Oof. But yeah, so I've been having to do that, which means I've not had a lot of time to sit at a computer because it hurts after a while. But I did get to play with Jazz a little bit. Was that Thursday? No, Wednesday night.
That was Wednesday, I think.
Yeah. So it was fun to drag him out, and he's very fun as a Draxillus, the vampire. Is very fun as a character because the vampire thing, like I said, it's the least of his actual attributes. But he's a good listener and just listened to her and pointed things out to her, and then she kind of worked everything out on her own.
She babbled. It was great because stream of consciousness is how she learns. So both Trath and Drax now have figured out that if they just let her ramble, she'll eventually figure it out for herself.
And then when she loses steam, they kind of poke her into another direction, and then she'll bounce off that way.
You got to steer her back into the right direction.
Yeah. But they'd figured out a lot of stuff about, they talked about, I guess, what had happened with you, Strafei, with, what's his face again? I always count.
Jail.
Oh, you mean what I'm going to talk about in roleplay in a minute?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know all the details of it. I only found out from her. I've been watching Babylon 5 because it's like 25 years
right on.
So I wanted to call you Lanier, and I knew that wasn't right. You are not Bill Mummy. But, so it was a lot of fun. But yeah, getting to find out what your guys' roleplay was through her as she told it was kind of cool because it gives me a reason to still know what the heck is going on without having actually been there, And then
and what? You didn't actually demand to know the details, OOC? I'm so proud of you.
Cial had to go to her ESO equivalent of Fraser Crane and see what was up, / Thrawn.
Well, what was funny is really that actually was not the even reason that was just she
No.
mentioned offhandedly, I'm at jail. And I was like, and so they went off that. The whole reason was they were going to find what do they call the moon wells, the alien moon wells.
Oh, yeah.
And he
Yeah.
had gone to her just, as a exercise that they could get to know
And he
each other
chanced
better.
on the fact that she sings to them. So he learned a little more about her, which was cool.
Yeah, and now he doesn't have to do nearly as much work either. And frankly, neither do I, because I expect her fully to take me to each and every one of them without me having to look up a thing.
I know where a lot of them are. You're lucky.
You better have at least 5 of them, because that's what he needs, and that's what I'll expect.
Just to help you out, there's one near Trask's house, and
Yeah.
by Matheson.
But no, it was good, and it felt good to get back into roleplay, even if it was just for a little bit. I was hurting that's what's sad. It was only 2 hours or so, and I was hurting afterwards. I had to go back on my chair, sit there, and play God of War, which I'm finally fishing out through. Boy, it was a great game. He's such an asshole of a dad. It inspires me to be worse to my kids. Is that not the thing I was supposed to take from that game?
I mean, hey.
I'm really not sure
I'm not
that's
judging.
really what they wanted from you.
Well, no, because
you know?
I could tell him every time he does something good, and he's like, "How does that, Dad?" And I can say, "Adequate." Yeah, I mean, I'm digging on this. It's just kind of like...
See, it could backfire, though, because if you say that and he looks at you and raises his eyebrow and says, okay, Kratos, and walks off, you've just lost all credibility.
I think the part that'll fall apart where is I'm not a god, and neither would my son be, as they are. So it might fall apart at that point. But before I get there, I just passively aggressively insult them all the time, right? I mean, that's
I suppose.
That's what I've learned.
Just to make sure, if Gozer the Gozerian asks you that question, make sure to answer correctly. That's all I'm going to say.
He asks you if you're a god, you say yes. So yeah, it was a lot of fun getting to roleplay with Jez. I wish I could do it more, but right now I'm kind of still in a kind of a funk. I don't even know. I'm not enjoying ESO like I used to, like the game itself, which is always it's just kind of gotten repetitive for me, which kind of sucks. I don't know if the new stuff will change that. I mean, it does have dragons. Apparently, that's what all fantasy people want, is dragons in their fantasy game. And even though it, lore-wise, makes absolutely no sense because they're supposed to be gone for thousands of years, but maybe that was just in Skyrim now. I don't know. We'll have to go to our lore master now, Strafei. How are they going to work that one out, Strafei?
Well, I think they're saying this one was trapped. By some kind of...
There's 3 of them. Total.
If there's more than one, then I'm sure we'll find out in the story mode. But as far as I know, they're not supposed to be alive.
Okay,
So
see, that's
this
what
is
I
news
thought.
to me as well.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess they've already done everything else.
It is a second era. A lot of crazy things happen then. So.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Indigo. Yeah, no 308 receivers for that, I guess, on the combat rifle. There is an amazing... The sniper rifle is really good, but you have to try that. Apparently, we've gotten other people to play Fallout 76, which I'm glad they're having fun with it. It wasn't a complete waste of money. Although time will tell. So, Strafei.
Yes.
What you doing?
Sneaking around in the multiverse realm of our RP president right now. And about to tell you what's going on in roleplay.
That's what I was looking for.
See, I knew I'd get one of the 2 right. I kept stabbing in the dark. So, this week in roleplay, the evil twin of Trask, Jailthal, showed up. And he showed up in Trask's villa. And he kind of invited Ciel out. Because he knows that she knows where that is. Even if other people don't. And Trask thinks that place is all secluded. That's why him and Bully hang out there, because he doesn't think anybody knows where it's at. However, Jail knows about it. And he wanted to prove the point that he knew about it. Not only did he know about it, he could bypass all the wards and sit right in front of his fireplace. And he invited Ciel, and Ciel was freaked out as soon as she saw him. And they had a nice little chat.
Yeah, she knew, though, because he called her darling, just like he used to.
See, that's up for debate. But he did put an extra R in his darling instead of Trask putting 1 R, so maybe that's what she's king off of, so I'll allow it. In any event, he told her how proud of her he was, that her new task was to simply survive what was coming next. And then she went into bartering mode. Oh, don't hurt your brother. He's such a good dude. Da, da, da. He just looked at her and said, why are you so protective of these people? They're my friends. And what's a friend, Ciel? You know, they're nice to me. What does nice to you mean? And so essentially he kept torturing her mentally because he knows she's unstable and psychotic. And he's trying to get her to come around to his logic. And in the end, she just kept trying to barter for Trask's life. And finally she said, all right, very well, darling. When the time comes, they need you now. For obvious reasons. But when they don't need you, they will turn on you. Let me reference my brother walking out of you when they find you got discovered. Oh, well, he was under a lot of stuff. And there's this and this and this. He's like, hide and watch. Your new mission is to stay alive. He did let slip one of his abilities, which was akin to someone that Ciel worships. So she got a little gem of information there. And before she could extract anything else, he said, yep, our time is done here. And he vanished. Pissed her off good. This is after he attacked her. Or she attacked him.
Yeah, I was going to say, she attacked him. He didn't do shit.
She attacked him, and he just kind of used the shadows to hold her in place. Take her dagger out of her hand, inspect it, stick it back in her holster. She pulled the other dagger, then he pulled that from her hand, put that back in her holster. He had no intention of hurting her. He needs her there. So it was a fun little RP. It revived that whole story arc. So it's making the game interesting for me again. And that's what I did in roleplay. The end!
The end!
Oh my god.
Oh, and a funny note, just now, Ashen, when I logged in, you know how the president mentioned these game-breaking bugs that were sent through the ether?
Yeah.
So as soon as I loaded in, I fell through the world twice and then died on my own front porch in my cabin. So, well, I see Lucan's out to get me today. Just because I'm wearing this bomber jacket, eh?
Nerd. How about you, Uni? What'd you do?
I played through Call of Cthulhu,
How was
the
that?
2018 version. It was terrible.
Was it?
Yes.
Oh, she's like, it sucked!
It was awful. Like, I really wanted it to be good, but it was like they had this unfinished, potentially really good game that they just kind of stopped working on and went, yeah, ship it.
See,
Yeah, you
I
can blame
wonder
producers
about
for that.
Yeah.
Like-
I really wanted... I have that on my wish list. I almost bought it on Steam like a couple weeks ago. I was
Which
like, no,
game?
I still have
Mm,
Call
Don't.
of Cthulhu. It was
Oh,
obviously based
yeah.
on Lovecraft stuff.
unless you have a controller, you will not be able to progress in the game.
Good to know.
Really? How's that?
I was playing on keyboard and mouse
Uh-huh.
through the game, and there's a game-breaking bug that they still haven't finished to this day, or still haven't fixed, rather, to this day, where you get stuck on the conversation wheels. Like, you can highlight what you want to choose, but you click all you want on it, and nothing will happen. And you just get stuck there. You can't, like, escape out of it or anything like that. You have to
Wow.
start over at your last save.
That is super uncool.
That
Mhm.
I can let you, if you want to finish it, I can let you borrow one of our Xbox One remotes. You just USB
No, I
plug
have
in,
a
but-
controller, and
Okay.
that's how I ended up finishing it.
Oh, okay.
Because I had to
okay.
plug the controller in and use that.
Wow, that
Part of me
is
was
some
hoping she'd
chunk
say,
coding.
yeah, part of me hoping was saying, I didn't use it. It's a principle. Those fetchers should have fixed it.
It's a principle of the thing.
No,
but on
they
the other
should.
hand,
They
she
should.
paid for it, so she's
It,
like,
it has
"Fix it."
all the right ingredients to be a really
The
good game.
trailers look great. It looks like a lot
The
of
art-
fun.
The art is fantastic.
Yeah.
The graphics kind of glitch out a little. Like
Right.
all the ladies that were wearing long skirts, whenever they would sit down or move, their skirts would just fly up over their heads.
Hey, that's a feature, man.
So
What are you
they
talking
had-
about?
They had EverQuest 2's skirt
Would they'd all be
physics.
naked?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the same kind of physics.
Where was that? Oh, it was Fallout 76. Sid was wearing one of those
Yep, I've
nurse
seen it there.
dresses, and it gets the nurse. It flips up and gets caught on like the top of her badonkadonk butt, so her ass.
Yes,
is
it
showing.
does.
Yeah.
Not that I was watching that go down,
Right.
but I have seen that
Mhm.
bug in action.
This is a pretty funny bug. So yeah, that's a shame. I mean, thank you for saving me. I guess I think it's about $30 now, so I appreciate that. There's another
Yeah.
one that's in that same vein though. That's in the Cthulhu world. It's getting ready. It's either out or it's coming out soon. I forget what it was called.
Oh,
It looked good.
I may
It
have
looked
to
good
check
too.
that out.
But it's this year. I know that because I kept getting them confused because their art styles aren't exactly the same, but the premise seems to be very similar. I'll have to see if I can't find it.
Oh, hey, I'm a sucker for a good Cthulhu game.
Yeah,
This one just was
that's
not.
the problem, though. There's none.
It's
They're
difficult.
really bad at it for some free property. That's the great grandfather of modern horror. They suck at recreating it. They really do.
Well, this one, like I said, had all the ingredients there to be a great game, and like I played it all the way to the end because I wanted it to be good. I'm like, so something has to be redeeming here.
Yeah, and that was the
And
one
it
where like
wasn't.
the like octopus tentacles were coming out of his skin, and he was like shaving them off, right?
I don't remember that happening.
Okay, that might be the one that I was looking forward to. Then that might be the other one.
Oh, fun.
I mean, one Cthulhu game is just like enough. Now I gotta let's see here.
You need to play some Bioshock. You get your fix.
Oh man, Infinite.
I like
Loved
Bioshock.
Infinite. That was one of my favorite. 2 was okay.
Did you play Buried at Sea?
I don't remember
Oh
all
my
of it
goodness.
now at this point, but it was just all
I really
awesome.
hated Atlas after that.
Yeah, they were big fans. That's that too, did you?
Really hated his guts after that. I mean, I didn't like him before, but anyway, I won't spoil it. Those haven't played it.
Yeah, and that one's that's a classic. I really hope they delve back into that world one day, but I think isn't the EA or something that has control of that now?
Oh, well, it's dead then.
Right.
Yep, they've killed the studio.
And yeah, and same thing because they also Mass Effect is the other one. They own their studios.
I think BioWare got it back because they've been making
Yeah.
rumors like they're going to work on Dragon Age and better Mass Effect.
Yeah, but EA still owns them, don't they?
They do.
Yeah. See, and that's
I'm not sure how that works. That bears investigation.
yeah. I saw something on that, and it's like, oh, moment of silence.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there it is. Call of Cthulhu. That was the one. What was the other one?
Yep.
No, I don't have the other one on here. I must have saved it somewhere else. Of course, I put it on the wish list. Oh well. Well, that's cool. I appreciate you saving me $30, according to this. So yeah.
Hey, no problem.
That's what friends are for.
Right, yeah. Thanks for wasting your money so I didn't have to.
um, spoilers, I didn't.
Oh, it was one of those like gifted things or something.
It was a gift, yes.
See, there you go. Well, it's still a shame to, like, oh.
That still sucks, yeah.
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 Yeah, like I said, I really wanted it to be good.
Well, the trailers were awesome. It really looked great, but that's so disappointing. But anyway, I guess we should do this role play thing or something, I suppose. But nah, that's cool. It's a shame. I love narrative stories. I really do. It's where I get my inspiration for roleplay from. I just basically copy and paste out of entire things and then just play that because I'm creative like that. No, I'm sorry. I'm channeling other people.
That's not creative, boss, but I digress.
Well, no, because I've seen it happen so many times. When I saw was Drizdo Potter out there.
Yeah, we don't talk to that guy.
Yeah, and his friend was it Darth Dumbledore in Star Wars The Republic?
No.
Yeah.
Just say no.
What about when I was playing Matrix Online, Snape, with his greasy black hair that was a good one. I actually I don't even
That's
know if
just
those
depressing.
were out by then.
That's a show topic. Those
Yeah.
that are unimaginative.
Yeah.
Unimaginative people, man. It's like stop taking movie characters and game characters from other
Anime.
games and using them in a game.
Anime.
Just stop. Just say no. It's
You
not
take-
hard to make up a name. Please, for the love of God, stop doing that.
I will say, though-
is one thing. Flat out ripping it off is another.
It's true. I saw the new Smash Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Nintendo Switch now, right?
Uh-huh.
Apparently, you can play Cloud Strife, and I lost my mind.
Yes, you can. They have every
Yes.
character that's ever been there, which means they're out of the 70, I think 6 characters on there. 45 of them are from what's that? Fire Emblem.
Fire Emblem, yeah.
45 of them are from Fire Emblem. At least that's what it feels like.
And if you change the outfit, you could be Advent Children Cloud. I was like,
Yes,
this
you-
is way too cool for me to be messing around with. But
And you played him, and she really dug him. He was awesome.
Well, he's very conducive to the button masher.
he's very Cloud-ish.
Yeah, he's got some
Yeah,
pretty badass moves.
he hits hard too.
He has a
Does.
half-assed Kirby move where he jumps up and down and slashes, but he doesn't have the
Yes.
wave like Kirby does. That's why it's half-assed.
Uni, back me up on this. All we really need is that stupid ribbon that keeps us immune from all effects, and we're good. I'm just saying.
And look, all I'm saying is, all through Final Fantasy VII, they were carrying friggin' Phoenix down.
Mhm.
Yep, they were.
And yet it still didn't help you when someone got stabbed right through the chest. Where,
Yeah,
was
Nope.
that's true.
where is your Phoenix down now?
Apparently, they forgot.
They forgot. Let's just dump her in this.
That was always my question.
Dumping
Like, what?
lake.
You got a Phoenix down, bro. What are you doing? You're drowning her. All right, whatever.
Well, I always like that cutscene where he walks out into the middle of the thing, walks out, and then he lets her go, and then suddenly it's about 400 feet deep. She floats down. It's like, wow, that is.
Yeah, you always. That was also curious, but hey,
So
they were under a lot of materia. I'm sure they don't remember it quite as well as they should. The effects, that
Yeah.
radiation.
Yeah, they are radioactive. Basically, radioactive pellets is all.
Oh yeah, little gems, right?
So, all right. Well, let's go ahead and chop down this giving tree. Jazz, you want to take some of this? Because this was
Yeah.
kind of one that came out. This was Jazz's thing, although we all understand and agree with
Well, we'll preface this. I like to explain where topics come
it.
from.
Right, go for it.
And this for me is because as a guild leader, I've had to deal with the ensuing drama that comes from this nonsense. Far, far more than I care to even think about. People who use their connections in game to try to get money and are usually successful in getting money from people, both in real life money, game items, and then when it doesn't work out the way the person wants it to, then drama explodes and it lands in my lap. And unfortunately, my first reaction is, why did you give this person money in the first place? So you're blaming the victim? Yes, you're stupid. Which is very not thoughtful, and I'm working on that. But nevertheless, that's where this topic comes from, is because every guild I've ever been in, every game I've ever played has had to deal with this.
Mm-hmm.
More so as a guild leader, but it's definitely something that needs to be discussed.
Yeah, it was something Mara in her guild. It wasn't something that happened to her, but she had warned everybody about. Apparently, there was a guy in ESO that had. She found out it's been going on apparently for some time, but he'll create a guild or join a guild and then tell everybody he needs money for a was it the merchant vendor guy?
Yeah, to start the trade guild.
Trade guild thing, and which is millions of gold.
Millions of gold. Millions of gold. Yeah.
So they do that. They do what they got to do. They hand over the money to the guild, and then he pulls it out of the account.
Closes the guild and vanishes.
And
yeah.
disappears into the ether, and there's nothing they can do about it.
Oh, that's so greasy.
Right, it's super greasy.
Oh, it's super scammy.
But at the same time, too, that's what this episode's about. Yeah, gotta be careful when you're dealing with people online. Really, really careful.
I think part of it is because, particularly in the roleplay community, we tend to assume that we know people just because we've roleplayed with them for years, and we don't. You don't know someone, and it's important when money gets involved that you remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Game items are one thing. Game money is one thing.
Well, and for proof of that, you have to look no further than, and if anyone's had to go through this, I feel for you. When a relative dies and there's money left over.
Yeah.
Oh, it's horrible.
And your family could, I've seen it tear.
It implodes.
Families
Yeah.
apart.
Mm-hmm.
Over, a few, anywhere from, 10, 20,000 to a couple 100,000. That's when it can get real ugly and real contentious. I mean,
let's be honest. It gets contentious over a couple $100 in mom's silver. So
that's true.
Yeah.
Especially when it
it's
comes to
more-
the items that meant something.
yeah,
to somebody.
items and money. Even if it's, I've had to officiate in situations in real life between people who are literally tearing their family apart over a couple $1,000s, not even 10,000. I mean, we're talking a couple $1,000s in bonds, mom's china, and the house, which they owe money on. So really, by the time everything's said and done, it's only going to be a couple $100 to each person.
I got a real life story equivalent for this kind of topic. Guy, I had a great aunt who lived in Oklahoma City, up in your neck of the woods, boss. And the local politician attached himself to her because she loaded.
Oof.
Oh.
Sorry, guys. Hold on a sec. God damn. Okay. Say something.
What happened?
Did we go offline?
On my end, it was nothing but like 3 times the sound of static every time you spoke. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ouch.
That's true. I was getting a lot of bubbles too.
Yeah,
so.
but it was. I had mute it.
Do you need to restart that story?
Yes.
Yes, because I think we heard I have a
I see.
Yeah.
So I got a real life equivalent of the whole family thing. I had a great aunt who lived in Oklahoma City, up in your neck of the woods.
Oh yeah.
And her husband was really smart financially, and she was loaded. Unfortunately, this local politician in Oklahoma City attached himself to her through nefarious means and rewrote her will, leaving my mom a parting gift of some crappy whatever it was. Went to her funeral, got to see the greasy guy in person, try to shake her hand. We didn't shake his hand. And I then had to tell my mom, it's not worth it. We need to walk away.
Mm-hmm.
This has all become a big fiasco. We just need to leave. And that was the best way we could keep our honor and save face. Evil won, but did they really? I don't know.
They didn't win, because in the end, it'll come around to them. It always does.
Yeah.
But, the shysters are out there at every level.
Yeah. At every level of life, they're there. There's two born. What did I say? There's two born to take them.
Sucker born every minute, 2 to take them. Yeah.
Yep. Sucker born every minute and 2 born to take them. And that's very true whether you're in. There's always going to be shysters. And in the game with roleplay and lots of ERP,
we let our guard down, and it's a little easier to slip under the wire.
It makes people targets who become emotionally attached to people that they ERP or just RP with, and they think they know this person, and this person starts sobbing about not being able to make their rent or whatever. And then, later on down the line, after this person vanishes and everybody's upset, they find out that she did the same sob story with 10 different people, and she got thousands of dollars from people.
Right. And it may not have even been true to start with.
Right. And there's no way to know because the person is gone.
Yeah.
And the phone number she was using is disconnected, and there's no proof she even existed other than the fact that we, knew that she had because we'd all talked to her. This happens in every game. In every guild, there's always it happens a couple times a year. It's something that is really important to talk about.
If it's not in your it'll be your community, so you'll hear about it sooner or later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah, and don't take us. We're not coming at this from the you little people. We have so much money. Hold on, let me light my Cuban cigar with this $100 bill, which I will burn first. Yeah, we all struggle with bills and stuff here, or at least we have at one point or another, or still do. We have a variety of different financial and monetary situations here, and it comes and goes with usually car repair. Usually car repair.
Yeah.
In
car
hospitals.
repair.
In hospitals.
And
back taxes.
What's that one
Student
thing?
loans.
What's that one thing that we like to eat? Food. Food.
Yes,
right,
food.
Yeah, there's food. So we're not coming at this. We're coming at this from the aspect of we all
bunch of broke folks,
right? And we all I give what I can, and I help how I can, and you do what you do, but you have to take care of yourself first, because if you're not taking care of yourself, you then can't help others. So we're coming at it from that perspective. Unfortunately, hold on, I need to get my monocle out. Okay.
Oh, very good, Lord Ashen. Top of the day.
Right. Well, Jazz, continue on and tell the little people how they should spend their, I don't know, I assume like $1 or $2 is all they have. I have no idea what little people make.
I mean, it's important to say that
right.
In my real life, I'm a social worker, and I use my own money to help my people from time to time when I have it, but I don't spend money I don't have.
Right, 'cause you still have boys.
Right, I still have to take care of my bills.
Right.
So, it's hard to tell someone no, and I know that.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you know them and you care about them on some level, even if they are manipulating you, you care about them. But it's important to understand that you can't do that at the expense of yourself. So even though and I've helped guild members, I've given money, real money to people. I've sent food to people in boxes. I've done those things. The heck with that. Really, Cat?
You can't save the world. You can save your small. You can do your best to improve the little small sphere of influence around you. That's the best way I've always looked at it.
But at the same time, I never expect that money back. I know that at any time they could vanish, and I'm pissing in the wind. I never expect to get anything back for what I do.
An image of Jazz peeing in the wind. That distracted me away. Okay, I'm sorry,
really?
Jazz. I'm back.
Really?
We had a peeing contest and family reunion, which, by the way, my Aunt Ann won.
Was the wind blowing, Ashen?
You might be a redneck.
I think that's where that came from, yeah.
Was the wind blowing? Because if the wind was blowing, she's cheating.
See, I see, says the blind man peeing into the wind. It all comes back to me now.
Sorry, go ahead, guys.
It's going to be one of those episodes, folks.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It's a very serious thing, and at the same time, it's so serious you gotta kind of have fun with it a little bit.
Yeah, you do.
Otherwise, you're gonna be like,
so that's
the
the
world's
setup.
a vampire sent to drain.
Dun, 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 dun.
So that's what causes it. That's what brings up this thing, is because I feel that it's an issue, and what started it was Mara's article about this guy doing this, but it just offsets the need to discuss this and to keep it out in the open, because in the year that I've been in ESO, I've had 11 instances of people getting burned in my guild.
Yeah.
So people getting burned.
Yeah. Hello? For the love of God, is it doing this stuff again? I'm switching. Can you guys hear me? Hello? People? Hello? Alright. I think Discord is crashing. Give me 1 sec. Oh, hold on. I apparently lost connection for a second. Are you there? Hello?
Hello, what happened?
I think I lost my internet for a second because Steam.
Oh yeah, the stream went offline.
Stream is saying it's disconnected, attempting to reconnect. Yeah.
Yeah, Twitch is offline.
Oh, good. There was a network error. Please try again.
Yeah, my internet blinked. That's the first time. That's not happened in forever. So
how do you restart it?
It's saying it's trying to reconnect and start recording again. I'll just splice the two things together. Okay, now you can let me know if it comes back up. It's gonna be one of those fun nights, apparently. There you go. It's trying to reconnect.
Well, it might be a blessing. If your neck is hurting, hey.
Oh, I'm all right. There, I think it goes. There you go. Is that working?
Not yet on my end, but there's always a...
Yeah, there's a delay. Well, it says it's going now. I don't have a connection.
Yeah, I'm getting an ad.
Yeah.
An ad?
Yeah, an advertisement. A full-blown advertisement.
Well, that has nothing to do with anything we're going to get money for. I guarantee you that.
I was about to say.
By the way,
there we go.
There was a deal. I get $1,000 every time we do an episode. Don't worry about it. I thought you guys knew about it. No, so it's just a thing.
Dang.
There it goes. All right.
Totally got hosed.
Now we're back online. Yeah, I don't know. We just lost my internet for a second. So apologies to those listening live. Hopefully you came back. If not, I understand. It's a little weird.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know when you guys stopped being able to be heard because I couldn't hear you. So,
what did you last hear?
Me shouting, "Hello, hello."
Before that, you smartass.
Just you saying why we were doing it, and
okay,
getting ready, to go about Mara. I was actually trying to find
the article,
the thing that she put up about who. Let's see.
Aw.
Hi, kitty cat.
Hi, kitty.
Stop. I will let you out. Start that nonsense.
Okay.
He like put his face right up to the microphone and meowed on purpose.
According to this, it was TYVM Bon Scott. So if you see,
like he's going to use the same name again,
right? I'm just saying, but just in case, if you see someone with "Thank you very much," TYVM, I guess is what that means. Bon Scott.
As a side note, if you guys have seen Captain Marvel yet, that meow is freaking awesome. I'm just going to say, there's an awesome cat in that movie.
Yeah, no spoilers.
No spoilers.
Random.
Man.
Anyway,
all right, now on to the different things you had here.
Okay, so the first thing is the scenarios that can be used to set you up to help them with money matters. And this is not necessarily just reality. This is just what scammers use.
Mm-hmm.
And they pretty much work off a script. It's amazing that they all use the same stuff. And some of them are honest to God situations, but these are people who always have something happening and never take responsibility for their lives and are always asking people for money, for help, for everything. So there are two types here. And one is, nefarious. And one is just this incredibly needy person who just wants you to, or anyone to help them with their life other than themselves.
Yeah.
And that's harsh, I know. But as a social worker, I'm assuring you.
That's the truth, Jazz. Nothing harsh about that.
This is the way it is. Some people become so determined to not accept responsibility for their own lives that they will sponge off of everyone and suck them dry.
Yeah, especially strangers on the internet that they don't ever have to see. That's just really easy to do that.
And there are people who are scammers who make a living doing this. So
we have a problem with panhandlers here in Oklahoma, and I'm sure every state has those with the in-depth documentary on News on 23, how they pull in, 50 to 100K, or, there was one guy here in Oklahoma City, I think it was, some chick followed him and was filming him, and he's, he looks what you expect as some sort of homeless vet, and then when he was done, he followed her as he got into his BMW, straight off of begging out for money on the side of the freeway.
You never know.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to know.
And I mean, and the thing is, and this is what I tell people, I help people no matter what it is, whether it's a scammer or whatever. When I'm in real life, I see somebody on the side of the road, they need money. If I have it, I give it. I know that it could go to drugs. I know that they could be scamming me. I don't care because it's about me. I help people because I am a good person. If they're not a good person, that's on them. I don't worry about it.
Yeah, and that is true. Which, unfortunately, for me, I'm not willing to take risk. I'll give it to things that I know will go where it's supposed to go. I like charities and things. I do my research. So for me, I just can't do that. I mean, your philosophy on that is right. If you're going to get scammed, you're doing the right thing. Whether they're doing the right thing or not isn't something you can know. But someone like me, I just can't take the risk.
I would rather not take a risk.
Yeah.
I'm not going to take the risk that they are real.
Yeah.
You can always take them a hamburger if you're unsure.
Yeah, I mean, I have brought people food. I have taken them to homeless shelters. If they turn you down,
at you, then you know.
Yeah, if they get pissed off at you, then you know they're a scammer. But I mean, most of the time, I'd say 90% of the time, they're good. They're good people in a bad place trying to make ends meet. Those 10% are always going to be there in every aspect, in every society. And if I stop caring about people because of those 10%, then what does it say about me? So that's how I look at it. Mm-hmm. But I also go in with open eyes. Like I said, I'm setting my money on fire. I'm never going to see it again. It's never going to come back to me and let it go.
Of July.
Because you're literally
burn something. Yeah.
Well said, sir. Well said.
But like, if I go to Goodwill, they say, "Would you like to donate to our cause?" Bitch, what do you think I'm doing by shopping here? No, I'm not giving you any more money. You already charge me too much.
And by the way, here's a bag of clothes that doesn't fit my kids anymore.
Yeah, like I give you everything for free, and no, I shop here. I'm helping so there's my little rant right there. It just pisses me off. But anyway, scenarios. What?
I think they're required to ask at some point. They're probably asked to ask people.
It's not the person's fault. It's what they're made to do. But for me, I just say no, thank you. But
Yeah,
the litany going on in my head is not polite, because it's one of those things that pisses me off. If you get everything for free and you're selling them at a huge markup, where if I just spent $2 or $3 more on that shirt, I could buy one for new that no one has ever worn.
And your
WTF.
Goodwill sucks.
Goodwill charges too much money, in my opinion, for the things that they're selling.
It's actually pretty good. I get some like $5 pair of pants, and then it goes. Unfortunately for me, it also goes straight to a Halloween dummy.
Yeah,
But
I
what
shop
I
at
do
Salvation
with it is none of
Army
your business.
because I like their prices better. But that's just my own personal psychotic, I suppose. Anyway, scenarios. The biggest one is the catastrophe line. I need help because of a catastrophe, a house fire, my car's wheels fell off.
We've known a few persons like that in EQ too, I believe.
Yes. And we've also known people who have outright lied about these things.
Right.
Who claim that their house burned down and their roommate died. None of it happened. None of it. And people believed it hook, line, and sinker. But because I knew where the person was from, according to them, all I had to do was Google, and there was no fires. There was nothing about it anywhere. And believe me, when a person dies, they run a...
Right.
It shows up.
Well, it's kind of like early on when we started the show, there was, I forget his name now. He lost a good portion of his house in that fire.
Oh, yeah.
And he helped pull his relatives out, so he lost a lot of his stuff. And, we were just put it out there, but it wasn't even him that contacted us. It was one of his guildmates, and they had pictures of the fire. There was a link to an article. There was every bit of proof, which is why I was like, we'll see. We'll put it out there and see. If
exactly. And there was a girl in EQ2 who died in a fire, and I didn't even like her, but
dang,
she died, and I felt terrible because I knew she had family and friends, and it was really traumatic for people.
Yeah.
Right. Whether I liked her or not, she was a human being, and so I, went to one of the places that could help donate, and I did because. That's the right thing to do. But there are situations, and so this catastrophe thing is something that always raises a red flag for me, especially if it happens more than once. Now, granted, we all know that person that everything bad happens to. Mm-hmm. But it's not... What?
I said hi.
Oh, yeah. You. Yeah, that's true. Some people are just prone. And I have a friend that always asks people for help and is constantly fired, laid off, car breaks down, car got hit. Somebody broke in and stole all his crap. And it really did happen. But at some point, you're like, dude, I don't know what you're doing wrong to the fates, but you need to stop pissing them off.
Maybe you should stop drawing dicks on the baby Jesus at the parade.
Something is wrong.
You're doing something wrong.
You gotta stop.
Seriously.
Maybe quit
and I've
knocking
helped
headstones
this
over
person,
at the funeral home.
But, I'm not going to keep doing it. I'm not, obviously, I don't have a lot of resources anyway. So anyway, the catastrophe thing is a big deal.
Yeah.
Another one that people use is, I had a bad month, too many bills, my car broke down, these are real, and we've all had it happen. And not everybody can rely on any. I have no family of my own, and until I met Jason's parents help us out constantly. It's embarrassing. I love them, but it's just really stop. We can figure this out. Yeah.
Right.
But they're wonderful. But when you deal with that in game, especially if you don't know them very well, or even if you think you know them well, but it just seems to happen a lot, you need to kind of wave that little red flag.
Back away, red flag.
Yeah. Mom and dad are mean.
This one is happening more and more, and is coming up, is a newer one, really.
Yes, it is a newer one, but it's also a red flag because they're supposed to be 18.
Mm-hmm.
Most of us that deal with role players and ERPers, they're supposed to be 18. And if they're going on a rant about how mom and dad are bad and mean, and they take my stuff and they won't let me do things, and it's not fair, and so I need help so that I can run away from home. If they use this phrasing with you, guess what? They're not 18.
I was about to say that they outed themselves.
They're either not 18 or they've got that family, the Chinese Wong family from Futurama. Oh, 98%. 2% room for improvement. You know,
Yeah.
they've got this old
That's
style.
right.
Or they're con artists. I mean,
Right. Well, and there are. I mean, I'll be honest. There are some shit parents out there. I mean,
yes, there are.
We don't need to listen to the lady that threw cheese on her kid's face and now has created a cheese challenge. The lady that poured the cold water on her baby, 6-month-old baby, and shouted, "That's what it's like, you piece of shit, for waking me up all the time." And was
Yeah,
arrested
that's unstable.
No,
And the baby totally understood it.
and the baby was like, "Bitch," and slapped her, and then it was a domestic dispute. And frankly, I think the baby came out on top. Actually, it's just the way I like to think that one went. But no, until I met, like, I had great parents. I mean, I say had because some of them are dead. But I have great parents as well. We had our problems, and we definitely had the things go round and round. Like I've said before, my mom was like Danny Tanner. From
hug it out.
Like the cleanness, like the house is.
Yep.
It looks like it came out of one of those like sitcoms, and of course, I was not. So there's a lot of tension with that. But she is a great woman, and they would love me. They supported me. I didn't know we weren't doing great when I was a kid. I thought, I mean, personally, at the age of 3 and 4, hot dogs and macaroni cheese every night for a week was awesome.
It's freaking awesome. I was about to say.
I didn't know. Apparently, that's like, yeah, we can't afford anything else. Food. I just like, yeah. Oh, this is good. To be frank,
Give me some more of them goodies.
I can afford a lot more now. I'm still eating the macaroni and hot dogs a lot of times.
Dude, you cannot pass up a good classic.
But so I didn't know until I met my ex-wife's mom that a lot of that shit you see on TV, like Carrie's mom from Carrie, religious fanatics that were horrible to their kids, people that were drug addicts and things like that. I didn't know those types of people until I got around that. And then that changed my perceptions greatly, that there are even, I mean, just up until when we got married, and, we were married early at 19, I think she was 20, and she was still giving like half of her paycheck or more to her mom because she demanded it.
Yeah, that's extortion.
Right. And and after we got married, I found out that there were 3 separate credit cards in my ex-wife's name that she never filled out. And they were also done before she was the age of 18. And had been
that explains
out.
That explains a lot right there, bro,
Right.
about a lot of stuff.
It does, but I didn't know those types of mom and dads. Now, given, I'm thinking they're still fairly rare because I don't know a lot of people like that.
Nope, they're not. I wish they were.
Right.
They're not.
But they're not. I was going to say, unfortunately, I don't think they're as rare as I hope they are.
No.
It probably just depends on, a lot of different factors. But unfortunately, there are those people, and they do brainwash their kids, and they will manipulate them and hijack them. But
There's a young couple at my church right now, and they're really nice. The guy is really cool. I'm not going to name names. But his wife, they're newlyweds. Her mom is still running her life, and she's a married woman now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have to go to this university. You have no this. And I looked at, and I'm being told this, and I'm like, bro, did you just tell her that put her on her big girl bretches and leave your mother and father and clean your husband? Oh, well, that doesn't matter. It's like, bro, it does matter. I mean, that's what we believe, right? So it's a thing.
Yeah, and it's easy. You see that from the outside. It's easy to see that from
Yeah.
the outside. I had to deal with that too.
But I had to deal with a mom like that, and it's not easy to just.
I had a
walk
great
away.
mom and a great dad, but when my dad stuck it crazy, I got a crazy stepmom, and I still got trauma from that crazy woman. So I've seen crazy up close.
Yeah.
So it is there, man. It sucks.
Yeah, and it's really hard, especially when the people are brainwashed like that with their moms, dads. It's
Oh, yeah,
really
it's
hard
horrible.
to dig them out of that. It took years, and it never really fully. Thankfully that's what basically ended everything too, which is great because now I got Sib, and she's fantastic, and definitely an upgrade.
Yeah, you can play that Luke Combs song. It's like, I don't have to see my ex-future mother-in-law anymore.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, but yeah, I'd never met those types of people. I didn't have them in my life. My grandparents weren't like that. My aunts and uncles. I mean, my uncle's a little at times. He just had a lot of jobs, but he's never, never like that. He didn't.
Yeah.
Didn't think he cared for his gay stepson, but that was a different story, and I had nothing to do with it. So yeah, that made that awkward. But the mom and dad are mean thing, that one, however, like I was saying to you, Jazz, that's been on the rise, and I think that is it's just something to
it's
complain
twofold.
about. It's to
Part of
complain
it
about.
is true. I think there are a lot more ugly parents.
Right.
But it's also, it's one of those things that because of all the headlines, because we are more aware that there's more ugly people out there, that it becomes a very easy kind of like the puppy, come pet the puppy, come get in the car,
pet the
little
abused
girl.
puppy thing.
Yeah.
Even
so
though the abuse is still, even though clearly the abuse for some reason still has 100 megabits per second download speeds, a $2,000
Yeah.
computer, and their own room, including a TV and a Roku to watch everything they
Exactly.
possibly want to. Strangely
you know,
enough,
that-
mom and dad are mean because I didn't do the dishes.
yeah.
Yeah, that's. Oh my
So
goodness.
that
Very
is
that
definitely
too.
something that we see more of. Also, my roommate stole from me. I got broken into. I spent my money on car repairs and I can't pay for my subscription, or I can't pay for XYZ in the game. Could you give me a hand? Or I need help with my rent because I had to spend money on car repairs. I mean, all these things are realistic, and in the culture and economy that we're dealing with right now, I think a lot of us sympathize with that. But that's also why con artists use it.
Mm-hmm.
Also, homeless, fired.
Best lie is half a truth.
Yes, because there may be some truth to what they're saying, which makes it believable, or they know that people are going to relate to it because it's believable. Homeless, fired, life changes. One of the big red flags for me, though, is when they're like, I need help for X, Y, and Z to pay my rent because I need to take a break and I need to quit my job.
See, yeah, and I don't.
And there are people who be like, you totally need a break. You poor thing. Here, let me give you the, so that you can.
No
oh
thanks.
my God, don't do that.
No thanks.
But those are all quick, easy to define scenarios that
I want
con
a break.
artists use as much as
Jazz.
reality does. What?
Jazz, I need a break. I want a break.
Uh-huh.
Can I have
So
stuff?
do I. Earn
Bring me
some
out a piece of
PTO.
that Kit Kat bar, bro.
What the fuck?
So we got to keep moving, or we are never going to get through this.
We got.
I'm just
plenty.
keeping it real, hey,
So the list of reasons why this is bad, we've already kind of listed, but you are being ripped off, and you're probably just one person out of many that's on the line for this. It's one thing if you don't know them very well. It's also if you think you know them. I'm hearing an echo. Is that me?
The Uni's picking up on her speaker, so I was getting ready to type to
okay.
her. She hears it.
Okay. And that is the most common thing right there, is that this is, if they're a con artist, or even if they're not they're not purposely trying to be a con artist, but they are milking everyone around them for help and money. You're not the only one giving to them. And if you think you are, you're delusional, because these people, whether they're just needing a helping hand or not, you need to be aware that this is a ploy. We just recently had to deal with this in our guild. It is something that happens, and you need to be aware of that. And although people will still help the person, I always tell them, you're just going with your eyes wide open, because this is probably a ruse. The other one, which is the more difficult one to combat, is the sets up a pattern of rescue. The more you rescue someone, the less likely they are to rescue themselves.
Yeah, that was the...
No thanks.
Yeah, you're not helping. I mean, and granted, I have, like I said, I've paid for subscriptions. I've sent people money. I've given them food. But I also know that that there's a limit, and they may not realize it. I'll send someone a whole bunch of money once. That's it.
Yeah.
Then they need to fix their life. I will help you a certain number of times, and then I'm done. Because if it turns into a pattern, then I know I'm not helping you. Even if it's real, I'm not helping you by constantly bailing you out, because you're obviously, is like one of my clients who never has enough money, but has enough money for cigarettes and beer and
like
pot,
$5 or
but can't pay their rent.
A pack now.
Right. But they don't have money for their rent. And they're constantly going to people and saying, I need help for this, I need help for that. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to be homeless. And when they
Well,
came
if
to
you
me,
didn't spend your money on chems, kid, you know.
yeah,
I
it's
don't
like
have money
stop
for food.
spending your money on pot and cigarettes. You'd
I
have
don't
a lot
money
of money
for
if
food,
you.
Jazz. But hey, did you see this new tattoo I got?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I had that one. Yep.
So helping them because you know they're in trouble is one thing. Creating a pattern is another. Just keep your eyes on that.
Yeah.
The next one is the more serious one that relates to the second one. When you help someone, they can start to feel like they belong to you, or because you're giving money to them, you feel they belong to you.
Mm-hmm.
That's not creepy at all.
It's
So-
true. Yeah.
And it's
It's
true.
true,
It
I
happens
know.
in social work. We see it all the time. We even have people that are social workers that will help people, and they'll be like, I can't believe that you spent money on pot instead of buying food.
Mm-hmm.
You need to do this and this and this and this and this. Now, whether I may have eternal dialogue about that, and I certainly am not going to be helping them anymore once I realize that,
Right.
it's not my place to lecture them on what they spend their money on. They're grown-ups. And I'm not going to do that, and nor should I. I have no place of doing that. So when you help someone, it's very easy for anyone to feel like, I gave you money, so I have a right to comment on where you spend it.
Yeah. Which.
And you're not living poor enough for my tastes.
Right.
And that concept of reality happens, and it's not because you're a bad person. That is just a human reaction once we stick our foot into that situation.
You feel like you have an investment in it now. And
yes, you have an investment in it now. You feel you have a say.
If
and
they
the
fail,
moment that
they
occurs,
fail, you fail. So yeah.
right. So that pattern of rescue then turns into stalker behavior. And it can obviously go really bad, particularly for the giver, but also for the taker.
Mm-hmm.
Because the taker then, why aren't you helping me? What are you doing? Are you helping someone else? I know you don't love me
Are you
anymore.
role playing with somebody else?
Yeah. So it can escalate very quickly because giving financial help, whether it's virtual, in-game, or whatever, gives people a sense of intimacy with you that you may not have intended.
Right. Yeah.
Just say no, kids. I very rarely, almost never, want to accept any help. But even when I need it, I mean, I got to be literally broke down in a ditch, and even then, I'll probably tell you no because I
Right.
just don't like. I don't like being in that spot. I like to be self-reliant.
I'm the same way. Yeah.
I don't want to be perceived as that beggar guy. No, thanks.
So, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're good. I was just saying, it's tough for me because I'm not that kind
Right.
of person.
Even though you know you need it, it's there's a pride to it. Too.
I'd rather do without because
Right.
I would rather be noble instead of looking like a leech. That's just
And
me.
I have had to tell people that I know needed help, and they were like, no,
Just take it.
no, I don't need your help. I'll be just fine. And I'm like, with one particular person who was in dire straits, I was like, look, this is food. I just went gluten-free. I have all this food. I'm just going to send it to Salvation Army if I don't send it to you.
I'm just gonna leave it here. Now,
Right.
what you do with it after that?
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it on the ground and turn my back, and if it's gone when I turn around, there'll be no
Hey,
questions asked.
So I have, had to do that. But when somebody did, that person that I helped has never, ever let me help them again. So,
Right.
it's always one of those things you can tell that a person is like that. So when you help someone, you set up a pattern of rescue, which can encourage stalker behavior and encourages real life connections you may not be ready for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, the next step is you are being ripped off and it's just one of the fish on the line. The next step for that is you are fueling a criminal enterprise.
Okay, I was curious about this one. Explain.
Okay.
Criminal enterprise. I'm
Let me
intrigued.
explain by using some personal knowledge with a friend of mine. She's an older lady. She met a guy on Plenty of Fish. He was very
Plenty
nice
of
to
fish.
her.
It sounds dubious
I'm gonna
already.
assume
Go
Well,
on.
yes, I
That's
agree.
a
But
together site thing, like
yeah,
Okay.
it's a hookup site.
right. Gotcha.
So she met this guy on Plenty of Fish who lived halfway across the country, and he and her hit it off and started talking all the time. And he was like, you know what would be really great? I have a problem. I have these phones that I need to mail to a friend of mine, but
Oh,
I
wow.
need you.
Instant red flag.
Right, but she didn't do that. So what he was doing is he was sending her cell phones,
Mhm,
which she would then put into a different package
mhm.
using her information and then sending it to the next guy who was doing the same thing. Now, these phones and the SIM cards inside can be, terrorist type.
I was gonna say they're
stuff.
hot. Yeah, they're
Tell me lies. Tell me sweet little lies.
So
Yeah.
I had warned her. I found out about it, and I said, "You need to stop doing this right now, or this could be bad." And she was like, "You're just ridiculous. All I've done is buy him iTunes cards, and I have taken these phones and sent them on." And I was like, "You did what?" Okay,
Jez, this
now-
is as a postal worker, this is hurting me.
yes,
I
I
was
know.
about
Because I
Say.
know where this is going already.
Yes,
and
you
it's
do.
Not a good place.
So she was sending him iTunes cards, which are a form of cash in other
Yeah.
countries.
Yeah.
No different than pop caps are in Fallout. Monetary use becomes anything can be monetary. Cigarettes in prison.
Actually,
Anything turns into money.
to back up on that, I saw an amazing. Hold on, I think I've got a problem. Am I losing my connection again? Are you there?
Houston, Oklahoma, we have a problem.
Ah. Son of a bitch. It happened again. It's all static. Anyway, I saw an article where cartels and stuff like that
Yes.
are buying the gift cards, like you said, the iTunes or Amazon or things like that, like thousands of dollars in
Money
like-
laundering.
like
Yes.
brick, like a cinder block brick of these and mailing them around, and that's how they're laundering their monies now. Yeah.
Yes. So I warned her about this. She didn't listen. And one day there was a knock at her door, and she opens up the door, and it's two FBI agents.
Sorry, I knew
Yeah.
that was coming.
They took the phones. They
I'm
took her
Special Agent Mueller.
iCards.
This is Scully.
Yes, they had her
in
in tears. She called me. They were telling her to put down the phone, and she was like, "It's my worker." And she handed them the phone, and they're like, "May we help you?" And I explained that I was an LSI worker, that this person is limited. You need to let me help her. Never mind that I wasn't really I was more a friend than a worker anymore. I wasn't, but I knew in
Right.
this case I needed to stretch the truth a little bit, or she was going to prison.
Right. Yeah, we're out.
And I went there and I talked to him and I explained that she's not simple, but easily manipulated because of her emotional situation, and she's mentally ill. And they were like, "Oh." And so they
Well,
looked
at
at her
least-
and said, "You do this again and we will take you to prison." And they left.
At least they listen, because there's
Yes.
some
There
that
you go.
won't. I mean, a crime.
Yeah.
There's a
No,
crime
they
is a crime.
listened. The thing is that she got another package 2 weeks later, and she didn't hear the door knock from the package delivery guy, so he just left it at her door.
Right.
So when I got there, I saw it.
Mm-hmm.
I picked it up and I walked in and I said, "What is this?" And she was like, deer in the headlights.
I
I was
don't know,
like,
George.
"Dude, have you been talking to this guy again?" And she was like, "Well, he sends me texts." I said, "You do understand that the reason they took your phone number, right, and showed you the warrant?"
This is because they're listening.
"What do you mean?" "They're listening to you." "What? They can't do that."
Yes,
So
they
you-
can,
you-
sweetheart.
So hopefully
So-
you called Agent Mulder and Scully back and let them know,
Yes.
hey, we've got a fish
I
on the
did.
hook for you. You can get them now.
I called the number and I was like, "Okay, here's the package. Come get it.
Come
I'm not
get it."
giving it to her." And they're like, "We already knew about the exchange. Thank you." And anyway, they got the package, and she never did it again. And then, of course, she met somebody and ran off to Florida.
Oh, and it lived happily ever. Who knows?
Probably. I don't know where she is now, but
That would be called happily ever train wreck, sir.
that is why you have to be careful.
You
Is
really
because
do.
not only is this perhaps dangerous for you, this can be criminal, and you don't know what you are help when you give
Right.
somebody money or buy them iTunes cards or buy them a phone and send it to them. Yeah, just buy me a track phone and send it to me. It really would help me because I don't have any money to buy minutes right now. You may have just fueled a criminal enterprise by doing that.
Right. And that
So-
might be a rare occurrence given, but really
No,
good
it's
story.
actually not rare. That's the problem. The FBI told me that
Really?
it is growing, and it's like 1 in every 300 people
No, that's not that rare.
have
at all,
participated in some level with this particular scam. It's
Oof.
huge and it's growing.
Yeah. Fentanyl.
Huge.
Too. A lot of fentanyl. Huge.
Something
Huge.
similar to that. I was trying to sell a doll,
Oh, yeah.
and I had her listed on eBay. And someone contacted me saying they were interested. I'm like, okay, cool. She's this much, blah, blah, blah. Here's my PayPal information. And they said, oh no, well, I'm going to send you a money order and my, brother or whatever is going to come pick it up later. And
Nope.
it just sounded really weird. And so I called Ben over because sometimes I'm not real good at catching these things.
Mm-hmm.
And I called Ben over and he's like, oh yeah, this is a scam. So he got on and he was like, I don't want you talking to my wife anymore.
Yeah.
And blocked him.
Go away.
But yeah, it's pretty scary.
Yeesh.
So the one, which is the scam artist, they could just be selfishly doing it for themselves. They also could be involved in a criminal enterprise. So do keep that in mind, because MMOs are a huge, very fertile ground for them to do this with. Huge.
They're out there, kiddies.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's why there's gold sellers too.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing. I was funny. I couldn't get people to understand who would go to a gold seller and they give them access to their accounts so that they can then get the gold, right? Well, then their account would be hacked several weeks later and all their shit would be stolen.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, can you not see the correlation? Well, they're not related.
That's called Idiot of the Week award, man.
It happened a lot, man.
I had that happen to a friend in EQ1, and I was like, are you stupid?
What happened? Yeah. Well,
our buddy Greg got hacked. I remember watching the dude run around with his tune. I just laughed. I trolled the guy. I was like, man, you're going to get caught, buddy. But
yeah.
So the first one is bad because you can be participating in a criminal enterprise. The second one is bad because you are creating intimate contacts with someone or making them think that it's an intimate contact with someone when it's not, and involving them in your life and your personal finances and vice versa, which just isn't healthy.
Mm-hmm.
So no matter how you look at this, it's generally a bad idea unless you are really, really sure, or you are wise enough to let it happen once and never again and watch for repeat offenders.
Yeah.
And to understand you're setting your money on fire. So kind of like gambling.
don't do it, kids. Moral story.
So good reasons to do this. I feel that's fair. We should probably
Right.
talk a little about that now that we've
go with the positive.
we've dwelled on all the negative.
Everybody.
Yes.
Or at the very least,
in EQ2,
yeah.
we had you could buy a gem, and that gem could be used to pay somebody's sub. Yeah, whatever those were called. Yeah. So we bought several Chronostones as a guild leader. I did. I would buy several over a period of time, and I would hold them. And if somebody couldn't pay their sub for that month, I would give them.
Got it. This episode's gonna be a real bitch to edit. It keeps going static on you guys. I don't know what it's doing. I don't know. Go ahead.
Make sure we're not on Discord of the South.
Yeah. No, we're central this time. So, but yeah, go ahead, Jazz. You were Chronostones.
Several times I did this. It was fine. A couple of times that I did this, I found out that they then turned around and sold them for in-game gold.
Yeah, and in EQ2, just for those that didn't play, you could actually buy these Chronostones and sell them on the broker in the game, and people could actually,
for hundreds of thousands of gold,
which people were willing to do because they had the money to do that, and so that way they could keep playing, but use in-game gold to do it. And it was actually a fairly clever way around the gold farmers.
Yes, it was, and it did help get rid of the gold farmers for the large part in EQ2 when they did that. I'm totally for something like this, as long as you understand that it could be misused. And we did. We knew we were giving this away. No strings attached. They either used it or they didn't. Now, we did have several people come ask over and over again for that month's subscription, and some of them were honestly just bad luck.
Right.
And some of them were because I already knew they had sold it because I monitored who sold what.
Yeah.
And a couple times, whenever I would give it out, every day I would go onto the market and I would tab up that person and see if they had sold a Chronostone.
Yeah.
So I didn't say anything to them. I never confronted them. Right. But at least then I knew that that's what they were doing, and I was less likely to give it to them in the future.
Yeah, it was funny. I bought a couple of those to give away as like event prizes.
Yes,
like, it was a really good.
We did prizes for it too.
Right.
It was
and
good.
it always cracked me up when somebody would win. They're like, they would send me to, "Am I allowed to sell this?" I'm like, "I gave it to you. You won the event. You could use it for your subscription, or you can use it to get in-game gold. I don't care. congratulations and enjoy. It's fine. Because it wasn't a pity party thing. It was hey, we're gonna do a fun event. There's gonna be a prize at the end, and you might win it. Do what you want with it after that. You're perfectly cool. But that was
Here, kitty cat.
On the good side of things,
I'll be back.
this did help a lot of our guild members stay and be active in the RP when they otherwise would have had to stop playing.
Yeah, 'cause this was before
we went free to play. It did eventually go free to play, and we didn't do it as much because going free to play was a pain in the ass. But you could still play.
You could still role play. Yeah,
right.
That's how I played for years after that because I was broken in grad school.
Mm-hmm. So I was an advocate of that because it was something kind of like going through PayPal. There's a protection level there.
Yeah, it's just a little in-game item.
Yeah, it's just a little in-game item, and it helped people. I did buy food and mail it to people that were having a problem. I did this multiple times, not just for the one person. I also paid rent for somebody by filling out the check and mailing it to the rental person and calling them and letting them know it was going to be late and arranging for them not to have a late fee because it was going to have to travel through the mail, and I live in BFE.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't know if it's going to be 3 to 5 days, but it will get to you, and I am sending it to you. I gave him the check number and everything. I was like, here's the check number, here's the banking information. If you want to run it through, you can. The funds are in there. Please don't charge them. And they were always really good about it. They were like, no, that's fine. Just send it to me.
No. And you do that, and you do that because you don't want to send it to the person because on those checks is your banking information.
Right. I said, and I told them that when I called the rental people. I was like, under no circumstances are you to give my copy of this check to them. And he says, well, this one guy was like, well, I actually have to show that the rent was paid, but what I'll do is I'll black out all your information.
And that's fine.
I'm like, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. Just, I do not want my information being seen by anybody. Not because I think they're going to steal from me, but it's just one of those levels of protection that I make sure of.
It's just, in this digital age, you have to.
And like, I had people who asked me to pay for something for them, and the only way to do it would be to go into their account and buy it for them.
Mm-hmm.
So they would give me their account information, which was an incredibly bad idea, and I always tried to talk them out of it. But if they absolutely had to have it, and I was trying to be gracious, like for Christmas or something, I would go do it. I would make them change their password immediately after.
Yeah. Dangerous thing, giving your account stuff out. I mean, you wake up in a bathtub with a king's crown and naked. And you don't know what happened to you.
No.
Yeah, I'm just saying. That was funny.
All your housing decorations are backwards, upside down on the roof. I mean.
Well, you log in naked. Yeah, good times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got to watch out for horny old ladies. I mean, not that I know anything about that, but
being a horny old lady, I don't know, but do you?
I'm talking about giving my account stuff out, bro.
What? Sure, okay.
So, it is important to say that reaching out and helping the people you role play with isn't bad, and it is something that you can do. Like I said, with the proper safeties in place. And with the understanding you're setting fire to your money and you're never going to see it again.
Do it. Yep. Do it willingly and without expectation.
Yes. Understand that. It's just like when I go gambling, and I have gone gambling in the past.
Mm-hmm.
I know I'd probably get more good things out of my money if I set it on fire. At least I produce heat. But if I'm going to do it because it's fun and I can afford to go and gamble, then fine.
Yep.
But I'm doing it with the idea that I know that I'm going to lose it all, and I'm going to be very sorry after.
Yeah, you don't go into it saying, well, just $50 more bucks. I can break even if it's 50 more.
Yeah.
No. We've gone into the gambler's fallacy before on this, and don't.
Gambler's fallacy is a bad deal all the way around.
So
don't do it, kids.
Is ways to suss out the truth. And this is something that I talk to people who have come to me and said, okay, what do I do to make sure this person is on the level? I said, okay, here's the things that you do. And I give them those things. Helping the person try to find answers, solutions, and options for themselves will usually quickly reveal someone just out to get your money and not actual help.
Mm-hmm.
I have had people who are like, I'm going to be homeless. And I'm like, well, you need to call HUD and get some emergency financing. Here's the number in your area. And they get mad at me.
Like,
might be a faker.
I just want you to send me money. Oh, that's not going to happen. So here, call HUD.
Right.
So, and because I am a social worker, I know all these things. So I can give you a list of the people and places to call in your state that you can probably get some help with your rent one time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many people I've told. Catholic Charities, regardless of what you think of them, will help anybody once. So call them, pitch your problem, and they will help you once. Look into the story, quiz them. Okay, what happened? Why? How often? Where did this come from? Get information. Or if they really want you to pay a bill, they need to send you the bill with their name and address and everything on it, and so that you can write a check and send it directly to that place.
Right, not the other way around.
Right, not the other way around.
Don't play telephone with it.
Yeah. Even if it's just, what if, and if they're really nervous about doing that, say block out the account information, like the account number, your name, your address, and the name of the company and the address of the company. They'll figure it out. They'll suss it out. If you put their name in the info part of the check and send it to them, they'll suss it out. They'll get their bill paid. But you still want to get that information. It's okay for them to want to protect themselves. But if they're like, they black out all of their information except their first name, and they black out all the information except the company name, the answer is no.
Right.
Arrange to pay the bill directly. That is a big thing that I've done on multiple occasions safely, and I've never had it bite me in the ass. Get their account information if you're doing something for them in game, and go in and use your card yourself in there. Like if you're paying for their subscription, because in some games you can't do it any other way. And then go in and delete your information before you log out.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Good Lord, yes.
Yeah.
Don't leave your credit card information. You'd be surprised how many people get burned that way because they just leave it in there and then they're like, okay, so when you get done, when they do this, just delete my information. Oh, sure. Thumbs up. Sure. Yeah, never happens. They get a couple of months off before you finally manage. Because let me tell you something. Calling your bank and saying, well, I agreed to this, but I don't anymore, doesn't go over real well.
Right. They're like, well, we can cancel the card.
Yeah.
Take the hit.
But you're still taking a hit because you were dumb. Pay the stupid tax. Surprise.
Yep. So, if they claim a fire or some catastrophe has happened, get the city, state that they live in, Google it. It's really very easy. I had a friend who said that X, Y, and Z had happened, that he'd been nearly killed in a car accident. And I was dubious, I'll be honest, because like I said, he's one of those people that bad shit happens to all the time. Yeah. So when he told me that he'd been T-boned in an intersection and had to go to the hospital, and the other guy was fine, he was drinking, he told me all of this stuff, and I was like, But he gave me all the information, and I looked it up, and yep, there was his name, news everything. Yeah, the news report was there about it because it was a pretty nasty accident. Ta-da! There's my proof. Okay, I have to believe him on this.
No, it's a deep fake, Jazz. It's just what China wants you to think.
That's right.
China, Russia, North Korea.
So that is. Those are ways to suss out the truth. And I do recommend to people like, well, I don't want them to think I don't trust them. You're giving them money. Let them be upset.
Right.
You need to make sure you're not getting ripped off. I think that's fair.
Yeah. You got to take care of yourself.
Take care of yourself. Yourself is important just as much as helping someone else. No matter what kind of friends you are, it's always important to cover your ass.
Yeah. Who's it? John Huntsman Sr., not Junior. Junior's a dickhead. John Huntsman Sr. He's
Junior.
He was amazing, man. He's the guy that created. He invented like the styrofoam containers that you ate at McDonald's back in the 80s, and the eggshell cartons and stuff like that. It's John Huntsman Sr., not Junior. Again, he ran for president. He was a dickhole. Senior was a great man, and even when he found out when they, again, we now know that those styrofoam containers were bad, and as soon as the science came out on that, he stopped using them and he went to something else. And he was multi-billionaire. He has a John Huntsman's Senior Cancer Foundation. Now, this guy, he's a billionaire, and his goal was, and he's passed away since, but his goal was to die penniless of his personal funds because he wanted everything he had to go into cancer research. And they've done amazing things with the cancer research because he'd lost his wife to it, and ironically, he'd survived it 3 times, and I think finally it got him.
Oh, I remember reading about that.
Yes,
yeah.
And he was a real solid man, and he had actually, somebody had said, like, teach me to be as, how do you be how can I be as charitable as you are? And he said, well, the secret is you don't care about just one condition. You care about the human condition. He said, I focus on cancer, but we deal with this over here and this over here. You have to look at all of it. You have to care about all of it. You can focus on maybe one thing if that's what you can do, but you still have to care about everything. You can't just, all right, so I want to cure cancer. What's that? Lung disease? Pfft, fuck those people.
Exactly.
But a guy like that, especially a billionaire, it is very. Obviously, I was very inspired by him too. I still remember those stories about him. But that kind of selfless giving. But even still, he, as a billionaire, he did not just give if somebody came to him with a cancer proposal or something like that. He wasn't just like, here's money. They have to make sure that they're giving it to the proper people and the proper scientists, so that it's not being ripped off and they're not wasting that money. And we all have to do the same thing. We have given, we may not have billions of dollars, but if I did, I guarantee I'd spend billions, millions of dollars worth of stuff on the stuff around me. Hopefully. I mean, I'm willing to try. If anyone's willing to make me a billionaire, say it.
You can't win if you don't play.
I'm willing to put your money where my mouth is.
I'll fall on that bullet too.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
Udi's there.
Yes.
Udi's there. But no, you just taking care of yourself and having the realistic view that you really should do. The fact that you want to do something good for somebody is itself is definitely a positive trait. It's not something especially us, we don't want to squash that. We don't want to scare you off from it. But at the same time, we don't want you screwing yourself, out of your rent to help pay somebody else that may or may not need it. Because if you're home, if you end up, and then something happens, what happened? Your car breaks down. Well, shit. Now I'm screwed. You don't want to put yourself in that position. And I know, the economies, they go up, they go down. Some areas are better than others. If you live in California, God help you, you're paying $5,000 every week for I think 3 square feet. I think that's the going rate for a house in California now.
I got a buddy in Redwood City renting, and he works at Crystal Dynamics. His whole check goes to rent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's lucky his parents paid for his tuition. And I was like, dude, that's insane.
Yeah, California, beautiful weather. Not worth living there.
No. So that segues nicely into the very final point, which is the realities of giving money. You never actually know for sure about who you're giving it to or why. So if you give with that knowledge that you don't know, you're doing this out of the goodness of your heart, not expecting anything in return.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
The next one is you are likely to never get the money back or any kind of kudos or even a thank you. I mean, I've helped a lot of people and I sometimes never even got a thank you. That's okay. That's cool. It doesn't bother me. But I went into it with the knowledge that I didn't expect anything, and I do mean literally anything in return.
Mm-hmm.
You're never going to get it back, although I have gotten some back from some people in some form. I mean, not necessarily in the same form I gave.
Kind of like, here's a bag of oranges, it's all I have to pay for you, kind of a thing.
Right. I mean, I gave money to someone, and then when I went to visit them, I stayed at their house for free instead of staying in a hotel. So they saved me about the same amount of money as I gave them. So you can imagine it was rather substantial. We broke even by the time I'd stayed there because I didn't have to pay for a hotel.
Right. Even the one that we had by the hour.
Food. Yeah, exactly. So they saved me a lot of money just staying with them. So to me,
well done, sir.
It worked out just fine.
Yeah. And it was helpful, but even then, still, if they had been like, I just don't want people in my house, you'd be like, okay.
Right. Yep. And I told them that. I said, because they were like, well, I said, you don't want me there? I'm 1,000% okay. That's what credit cards are for. I will be just fine. But because when I travel, I don't use my debit card.
Mm-hmm.
At all. I use my credit cards. Yeah. Period. Because I don't want my actual money to get pinged or stolen. I learned the hard way when I went to Washington, and I did, and I got ripped off. And granted, I got all the money back eventually.
It is a bitch and a hassle. Yeah.
Yes, it is quite a hassle to get your money back after you've been ripped off. Do not spend money that you yourself do not have in the first place. Don't spend your nest egg. Don't spend that money you have in savings because you know your car is going to break down soon. Don't spend the money that you need for rent,
or your
food.
garbage disposal, or your kids.
Yeah.
Those
Don't
fuckers
spend
break
money
down all
that you
the
know
time.
you're going to need. Spend money that if you truly have an excess, like I got an extra check one month. I
love those months.
I know.
With your paycheck
out of the
months.
blue.
Those are the best.
Because I got Employee of the Year.
Totally
this
the best.
year. So I got a couple $100 at the end of the year as
Is
bonus.
that because you're such a fast typer?
It has to be, bro. It has to be.
You're such an ass. So I was one of 5 Employees of the Year, and I thought that was really cool.
Well,
I've never had that before.
If there's 5 of you, it's not really being Employee of the Year, is it really?
Well, it is when they employ thousands and thousands of people.
It's just kind of like they should call it like the top 5 Employees of the Year. It's not really.
Shut up.
Top 5
Anyway, the point is, I
like
had some
government
extra
bureaucracy
money.
to me.
We didn't need it at the time. And
Right.
so I was generous with one of my friends, and I gave them some money to help them out. Now, later on down the line, we ran into some problems, and I thought, man, if I hadn't spent that
If
money,
only I had. Right.
Surprise!
there's nothing that could be done about that, and I don't regret giving it. But
Right, no.
it is proof that, make sure that you can handle that if it happens.
Proof that the road to hell is paved with good
Yeah.
intentions. Right, yeah.
You didn't
Well
know
said.
that, we didn't know that we were going to lose all these different financial options over a 3-month period, or I probably would never have given away that money. But anyway, giving money or anything, game money, game items, whatever, does not give you any special consideration on what these people spend their money on from that point on. Helping someone doesn't give you some special connection or the right to judge them in any way whatsoever because you wouldn't spend money where they are. I know, but this is just my last little point. Quiet.
Yeah.
But you covered it already.
So,
Go ahead.
I'm gonna. Don't worry, Jez.
Or don't go ahead. Hey, it's
I'm gonna
cool.
give it later.
Either way.
anyway, so it's just important, and it's something that I feel causes a lot of these problems that come from giving money to people are because one side or the other somehow feels that this connection gives them special rights.
Mm-hmm. And it's a you say that too because it's one thing too. We were for everybody that gives here on the show and just on Patreon, which by the way, awesome, we appreciate it. It was
You
one
guys
of the
are the
things we
best.
said right off the bat is it really. While we do appreciate it and we you get a special status and all this stuff, it doesn't give you content control. Is one thing we were very, very sure of up front. I see a lot of like podcasts and streams and stuff. The people sometimes that donate to it, like you're literally just throwing money at somebody. And while that's great and it's cool that you appreciate what they're doing and the entertainment they give you, it also I've seen some people where they feel like that gives them quality or content control. Like, well, now
Right.
I have a suggestion.
Again,
you have to do what I say, or
that
what do you
assumed
mean you're not
intimacy
going to
that
listen
isn't
to me?
there. Yeah.
Right. Or why are you treating me so mean when I'm being a shitbag troll in your chat? It's like, well, because you're being a shitbag troll in chat. I don't care. I appreciate you giving money, but don't be dick, and we want to treat you like that. Not that we actually have not had that problem here. I'm just saying I've seen it.
Well, I've certainly seen it in other podcasts and other situations like YouTube channels where people support the YouTube channel and then they're like, I should be able to do this because I donate. And and we've had that happen where we had people who bought gems for people and then that they donated to the guild to give away like as prizes and stuff. And then they were like, well, I did this, so I should be able to decide what this person does.
Why aren't
with
I
it.
an officer?
Right. Why aren't I an officer? I've donated this much time or this much money, and I should be able to know because you're not an officer, and this is exactly why.
Surprise!
So,
Which is we do appreciate you donating to the guild, but you got
Yeah.
that's why
That
we're
doesn't
not a
give
trade
you
guild.
any
We don't
special
expect
treatment.
it. Yeah.
So that's really the last point. That's just keep in mind that helping people needs to be its own reward, and not to try to let it either connect you more to the person you're helping, or allow the person you're helping to try to connect to you more where you may not want it. Or even if you do want it, you may not want it later. So keep that in mind.
Very well said for a pagan heretic.
Yes,
bravo,
thank you.
bravo.
Yeah,
It's why I love you, Jazz, because you do. That's literally all the embodiments of what you should do as just a halfway decent person, regardless of how you get there. It's why, and I tease Jazz all the time because, she's liberal and democratic and communist, I think, at times. I don't know when I see
There's some commie flavors there every once
There's
in
a lot of red flags in the background. I don't know what's going on there, but
I don't know what's going on with that hammer and sickle, though, man. Hey,
But one of my favorite people of all time is Penn Jillette of Penn and Teller. He is.
I thought you were going to say Jazz. Dang.
Well, no, she of
Jazz, you're one of my favorite people. There you go.
You are. She is. But I'm saying of somebody
Sure
other
is,
people
bro.
know outside of the show.
Dang.
Man.
Oh my God!
But no, funny. he clearly does not believe in God. He doesn't have the faith thing to guide him or anything like that. And yet, I think I've told the story where he doesn't drink, he doesn't smoke. One of the big atheist guys in the world came all the way, heavy whiskey drinker. I forget his name, but came all the way from Europe, came to Vegas, had a bottle of whiskey in his hand, and Penn Jillette looked at him and said, I don't think I can let you in my house with that. And the guy's like, I just came all the way over here from Europe, and you're not going to let me in my house because I've got whiskey. Yeah. And the guy was like, all right, well, your house, your rules. And he set the bottle down at the porch. They went in, they had the conversation, did their thing, and then left and picked up his whiskey on the way out. It's like, and he doesn't.
I've heard that story.
Yeah, he doesn't have the framework or anything like that. He's just, he's very, loves his wife, very devout. I mean, he has all the things you would expect of a good Christian kind of guy. But he doesn't really believe in God. And that's fine. Whatever gets you where you're going to go to be a good, decent human being, do what you got to do, Yes, there you go, Strafe. That's the one. So, that's why I, for all the crap I give you, Jazz, that's why I love you, is because you're a decent human being, and it's hard for me to say that. It actually physically hurts. Like, I think I just tore something on the inside. To be sincere with you for a moment. In fact, I actually feel blood.
You feel what?
Blood. Like actual blood.
I thought you disconnected for a second there.
Yeah.
I probably did because fucking shit's happening tonight, and it's probably Jazz's goddamn fault. Because she doesn't believe in him.
Oh my goodness.
Heretic.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Oh,
I am. Hedonistic heretic. That's me.
Heathen. All right. So let me double check. Let me make sure. What is today? Yep, that is it. Okay, so hope that was informative. But for next week's episode, it's going to be a special one. You know why it's going to be special, guys? You know why?
I had a feeling.
Because it's going to be St. Patrick's Day. That's right. Holy shit. Can you believe it? Yeah.
Woohoo!
So we're going to do our annual thing where we're going to have a game. And every time you get something right, you're going to have to take a drink, or is it wrong? I don't remember how I had the rules.
Wait, every time you said roleplay.
Actually, that was last year's. This year, we're going to do something different. This year, we're going to do something different. I found a list of, let's see if I can find what that site was called. You guys are cool, just like chilling out, waiting on me. Is that cool?
Either way, I mean, hey.
I mean, you're not really. I mean, what do you?
It should be fun. It was fun last year to see Jazz turn into complete wino.
Oh, right. Okay, so I found this thing called dictionaryofobscuresorrows.com.
Oh boy.
Okay. And
nice.
So what we're gonna do is it has words like, okay, I'm just gonna pick the first one here off the top. It's basically got words for feelings in situations that happen in life that a lot of us have. But it you wouldn't know that there was a word for it. Let's see. Here's one. Scabulous. It's an adjective. Proud of a scar on your body, which is an autograph signed to you by a world grateful for your continued willingness to play with her, even if you don't feel like it. See, makes complete no. I have no idea what that one means. That was a bad example. But anyway, but it's weird emotions. Like it's like a word for when you realize when you're walking down the street and you have that cognitive recognition that every person you see and pass has a life that is just as completely complicated and nuanced as your own. There's a word for that.
Wow,
So-
that's cool.
Right. So what we're gonna do is I've actually already got it done. I thankfully did this a couple weeks ago, which means I have completely forgotten everything I copy and pasted, so that I can play along too. And then,
Nice.
And I have the word, and we're gonna guess. I think it was 23 different words. So I'm gonna say the word. We're all gonna guess, and then we're gonna find out if we were right or wrong.
Oh no.
I like that.
Now, because there's 23 of them, and I'm pretty sure we're not going to get the definition of Sonder, Opia, Monocopolysis, Velicor. We're probably not going to get any of these definitions, so we might have
What
to
he
do
said.
something like every two that you get wrong, you might have to take a drink. And for those playing at home, if you want to drink along with us, you can guess at home yourself. And if you get, you can play along with us. We'll give you, you'll have a chance to be like, okay, well, let's see if I can figure out what this means. So it's going to be a fun game. What's it going to have to do with role play? I don't know. We're going to have to figure out as we go along because some of these definitions are really out there. I did say some of them did have a little bit to do with role play because they were kind of cool character. They would be things that like a character concept could come out of. So we'll just go along with it. But frankly, we're just going to have a fuck lot of time. Just have a lot of fun, and it's going to be enjoyable. Bring your alcohol. If you cannot provide alcohol, alcohol will be provided for you. Just go to your parents' liquor cabinet if you're underage.
We're not encouraging you to drink underage, but hey,
I was
That's
waiting
all,
for the
uh,
good one to spout up. No, if
that's
you're under
all.
the age of 21, you better not play along. Or if you do, you could have you could have, according to the Michael Jackson documentary everyone's talking about, you could have some Jesus juice.
so bad.
Oh, that's a
So bad.
that is a terrifying topic. The crazy thing is with the Michael Jackson thing, why is
Hit him when he
everyone
was alive
acting
for money, and then hit him when he's dead for money.
well, why is everyone acting like they're surprised by this? Haven't we known this since the 90s? I mean,
Have you met the attention span of these new generations,
It's-
bro? I'm just saying.
It's always been horrible. Like I think he's the reason behind any other Corey Feldman turned out the way he did, along with Macaulay Culkin. Those guys were fucked up for quite some time after spending any time with MJ. That ain't right. And now everyone's like, "Ow, we didn't know it was this bad. Who was sleeping with kids? How did you not know it was this bad? The fuck is wrong with you? Did you think there was a good way to do that? No." I digress. So tune in next week for that. Should be a lot of fun. We appreciate it, and I think that's it. We've wore ourselves out for the next show. I don't know what my thing is doing here. So all right, well, we're just gonna go with it. My computer's completely fucked up tonight. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Remember, subscribe
Thanks, guys.
or follow over at twitch.tv/RPM Radio if you want to join us during the week or ever call in the show, which I probably should have mentioned tonight, although we didn't have a lot of viewers tonight. It's kind of a slow night because of China. RPMRadio.com/Discord. You can also follow us over at what's that thing? Tweeter, Fastbook. You follow us over there. We're all over on, all those stupid things. Follow us there for all the latest and greatest. And with that, what am I on? Okay, yeah. All right, so tune in next time for halflings and why you shouldn't feed them. They'll only return expecting more the next day. Give a halfling a fish, he'll eat for a day. Teach a halfling to fish, he might fall on the road and drown. I don't know who added that, but I appreciate it. Speak up. Who was that? Who did that?
That was me.
That was a good one. Good job. You got me. I was like, I don't remember typing that. So, all right. Well, tune in next time on RPM Radio. Play on and keep the role play going, guys. The thoughts and opinions of those on RPM Radio are just that and should not be taken as the gospel truth, but pretty close to it. Music, as always, is provided by Husky by the Geek. Visit him at youtube.com/HuskyByTheGeek to hear all his great video game rock covers and original music.